Minnesota's mobs are trying to break the federal government while their new leader eggs them on. Oh, now what's going on? Oh, they're going to get that guy.
Get him.
Why is he running if he's peaceful?
Get back, get back, get back, get back.
Whoa.
Peaceful protests don't require an armed response. Look at him.
Sheesh.
He's backing up. He tried to get his weapon. Oh!
Whoa.
Visited by state-sanctioned violence that
What?
is currently occupying, terrorizing our neighborhood.
This dumb
That's not what's
This is not
BS.
okay. This is not the America we want to
Get this woman out of here.
And this is
She ain't
not
American.
the life
She hates
we
this
want
place.
For ourselves and for our neighbors.
Go back to Somalia.
Because you're the ones
But
doing
in
it.
this state-sanctioned violence, you all have refused to be afraid. You all have refused to back down.
Wow.
You all have decided
You're such a
that
loser.
this resistance is not one that can be intimidated.
What resistance is she
Wow.
talking about? Look
Good
at
evening,
this.
Leland. Yeah, this is quite a large protest right now going through the streets in Minneapolis. They just started marching.
Yeah.
It's very loud.
These
They
stupid
have
kids.
drums. They have whistles. They have bullhorns.
The whistles are so annoying.
As they are going outside.
Oh my God, I hate the
hotels
whistles.
Where they believe ICE agents
Wow.
are sleeping. So they were just outside of Hilton because they were told that ICE agents were there, and now it looks like they're moving to a different hotel. It's very organized because at the ICE office, they have people there who watch every single
Look at
car
this.
leave. They write down the license
people are
plate
animals.
numbers, and
Where do they get all these signs, huh?
go throughout the day, and then where they go at night. So
And look what happens when they find out where ICE agents are staying. Look at this. There's people inside this hotel who are like trying to sleep or something.
Lock all these people up.
They're just rapping on the glass.
We got no time for this in this world.
There's noise everywhere.
Get out of here.
I'm so terrified. If you're in that hotel room,
You
with your
uneducated
family,
fools.
and the press is out there, and these people are attacking it, like,
Seriously, Cash.
yeah. And
Yeah.
what's gonna happen to the people inside if they get in? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
This is so ridiculous. Look, you can see like staff at the hotel in there, moving around.
This is absurd.
This ain't peace.
Last night you said there was not a Minneapolis police officer in sight.
They surrendered the
Is that still
city.
the case?
They surrendered.
yes, there are no Minneapolis police. And let me just show you, Leland. We'll try to kind of get ahead of the group here.
No Minneapolis police. Everybody who told those police to stand down should be held accountable, should be locked up. All of these wild animals in the street causing a ruckus in the middle of the night should be locked up. I don't care. We don't have time for this. This is not how you get things done in America.
Like you see these guys in the yellow vests directing traffic. These are not police or city workers. These are protesters. This is how organized it is.
They surrendered the city to the mob. The mob is out there directing traffic. The mob is out there telling the law-abiding where they can and can't go. And the police, they're not there at all. And
Right.
you want to know why that is?
These are protesters. This is how organized it is. They actually stop the traffic. And they direct the protests where to go, and they tell the members of the public that they
Look,
have to stay
that
back.
guy just got kicked out.
And they're in control here.
They're in control.
There are absolutely no Minneapolis police
That's
officers
because the
out here.
police have lost control of their own city. And look
Right.
what happened when the police showed up. Look, the police were there. They were there. These are the sanctuary police. There's their sanctuary chief. Look at this.
And if these guys aren't busy arresting people, they need to be held accountable as
The
well.
place is falling apart.
Why are you letting your city get like this?
Oh, they're interviewing him.
Why are you letting your city devolve like this?
Yeah, why is he doing that? What's up, chief?
All these people banging on the glass,
Now they're being
throwing threats, they need to be
yelled at
locked
by the
up.
mob. They're
Throw away
all
the key.
leaving. Look at this. They're all leaving.
Wow.
Oh no.
Cowards. See, we've been through this before in history. I hate to bring it up, but there were a lot of people at one point that said I was just doing my job. You know what I'm talking about. That's not an excuse. Those people were held accountable regardless. You know?
Look at the mob's chasing them out.
No, not me.
The mob's chasing them out.
Really?
And you know something? This police chief, this force, they've come out and they've said, look, we don't like ICE either. We don't need them in our city. We're on the side of residents of Minnesota. These are the residents
Losers.
of Minnesota. They don't like the police. Law enforcement can't win with these mobs.
These are the same people who rioted
Can't
with the
do it.
whole
That's
George
why the police
Floyd
leaving. The
incident.
police just realized, they just found out that when you embrace the mob ain't gonna hug you back. Look, they're leaving. This is embarrassing. Law enforcement officers should not do this. No courageous law enforcement.
All these law
officer
enforcement officers
would
should be
cower
locked
like
up
this
as
in
well.
the face of the mob, but that's what's
Held
happening.
accountable to the highest degree.
That's what's happening. Look, they're gone.
Cowards.
This is surrender. Right here, total surrender. Look, they're throwing stuff at their own police, throwing snowballs at their own cops. That's not peace. That's not beautiful. There's nothing great or wonderful about what we're witnessing here. These people really want to destroy their own city and our country.
This is an all hands on deck process, and in Minnesota,
Oh, yeah?
we know
Disgusting
how to
human
protect
being.
one another, and I have been
Oh, you do?
incredibly proud the way our neighbors have shown up.
Proud of these
for one
anti-American
another.
people.
It's been beautiful
They're
to see,
attacking their
and
own
that kind
cops.
of resistance.
Look at all these Karens in the
is
background.
why ICE agents seem so angry and agitated, because they
I
have
think
never
she's angry and
experienced the kind
agitated.
of love that we experience here in Minnesota. And we know that they are going to disappear one day, but we will be here caring for one
Isn't it
another.
funny? A bunch of
and
ugly
carrying
white
out
women are
policy
backing her
with
up.
love here in Minnesota. This is an all
The most privileged
hands-
group of people in this
Love.
country.
Love in Minnesota. Is this what love in Minnesota looks like?
Thousands and thousands of people gathered
Love is doing the highest good for
Park
others.
in Minneapolis.
Look at this.
That's a notable
This is
location
not
because
love.
that is where former Minneapolis City
This is
Council
vagrants.
members announced their now failed campaign to dismantle the police here in Minneapolis, and that really sparked a
This is
nationwide
crazy.
movement. Now, yesterday, after the demonstrations in that park, also similarities to the George Floyd riots in 2020.
And trying to
protesters marched
recreate
down
2020, they
Lake
call it
Street.
love.
That was a much different scene yesterday because in 2020, many portions of Lake Street were set on fire during the George
Exactly.
Floyd
It's
terrible,
protests
man.
and
These people are
riots. And
crazy.
here
They're
are some
animals.
Anti-ICE protesters.
Oh, let's meet them.
Send all these Somalians back home.
They're out here trying to incite chaos.
No, you're trying to incite chaos,
I
loser.
see chaos on the screen right here. I don't see any federal agents in any of the chaos here. I see federal agents making an arrest.
hide behind
get
your
attacked.
sunglasses.
I see federal agents defending their deportation jail who have
Talking
to make
shit
arrests.
about these guys hiding
Look
their
at this.
face.
Got this guy surrounded by mobs taking over a street, and he says, "We're not out here to cause chaos." This is chaos.
It has to be stopped.
I have always been surrounded by a lot of immigrants and my family and my roots. So I'm here to stand up for what I think is right, and we as a community are here
By
together.
doing what's wrong. Get it
Right.
Now, Minneapolis
They're
police
breaking
say
into a
one of the
hotel.
Two wrongs don't make a right. You learned that in
and some
kindergarten.
rioters damaged parts of the Renaissance and Canopy hotels downtown
That's
Friday.
love, baby.
29 people were arrested. One officer injured after being hit with a piece of ice.
Hurting their
Democratic
own
Congresswoman
officers.
Elon Omar, along with other House representatives, say they were denied full access to
Elon
an
Omar's
ICE
gotta be
facility
arrested.
here in Minneapolis
I believe
yesterday.
it.
This is
They
just
probably
one
showed
more
up with no
example
appointment and
of
just
this
wanted to go in.
administration and Kristi
And they're causing
Noem
chaos.
violating the law. This is an out-of-control Trump
Oh,
style.
When
Trump.
people are disappeared in the
What?
darkness, American democracy dies. They are not only disappearing people who have committed crimes.
Remember, this woman has
or
openly talked about how she hates America. Come on now. Get her out of here.
this country undocumented. They are disappearing U.S. citizens.
No, they're not.
Disappearing
When did-
you.
When did that happen?
Where's
when
this
did a
rhetoric
U.S.
coming
citizen
from?
get put on a plane and flown to some other country? Never happened. These people do nothing but spout lies to rile up their mob army with the hopes of taking over America. They think that's going to work this year.
Now, DHS fired back, saying members of Congress were notified that their visit was improper and out of compliance with existing court orders and policies which mandate that members of Congress must notify ICE at least 7 days in advance of congressional visits.
Right. That's why they didn't
also
get in.
says, Representative Omar
breaking the
basically
law.
led protests, cheered up these protests on at the ICE facility.
Right. See, that's what these people do. They're just lying. Everything about them is a lie. They say Americans are getting deported. Not happening.
And what is wrong with ICE? Immigration control. Hello? You try to go to another country and stay there for longer than your visa? You're in trouble. You're going to jail. You're not going to have a fair trial. What is wrong with these people? They are not traveled. They are not cultured. or they come from cultures that hate America. Get them out of here.
They show up at an ICE facility randomly with a big mob behind them, screaming and shouting, and they say, let us in, and they wonder why they're not allowed in.
And really instigating.
Yeah, she's instigating.
And fueling so many of these riots here.
This is her army now.
And protests against ICE, just trying to get
her army of Karens.
And murder
Look at all of
off
them.
the streets. I keep wondering, you say who's funding these groups? Why don't we know more about these groups?
True, but real quick about Ilhan Omar, you are right. She's not only fueling these protests.
She's part of the fraud too.
Sometimes it gets violent.
Absolutely part of the fraud.
Also fueling the anti-ICE.
She's the ringleader.
It is causing the ICE agents to have a 13% increase in assaults on them, a 3,000 plus increase.
All these people standing here cheering, they think they're part of some movement.
And have you guys noticed? All these people are ugly? Just saying. Like, I don't know. It's something that I've noticed as of late. These people, these protesters, they're all ugly. It's like, is that why you're so upset? So the world's just treating you like shit because you're just not pleasant to look at, not pleasant to talk to. There's some interesting looking people out there on the right, but there's something sweet from inside that makes them attractive. You know what I mean? These people are all just a bunch of losers.
A legitimate resistance faction in America is behind. No, they're totally wrong. They're being emboldened by an elected official who is lying to them to cover up her own tracks. Don't forget that Ilhan Omar may have personally benefited from some of these fraud schemes. She's been photographed with some of the fraudsters, kind of makes it.
And remember, how stupid you think other people are? They're even more stupid than that.
Not so hard to figure out why she's out there championing the one thing that might stop these investigations.
Ilhan Omar is entitled to her opinion, but not entitled to her facts.
Because they're
as the
lies.
saying goes. And she is spreading this narrative that ICE is out to citizens and round up and disappear U.S. citizens.
What if Trump said that stuff? Trump would be in jail. They tried to put him in jail.
Actually, the people she's protecting.
Why do we let a country full of pirates into this country? Whose idea was this in the first place, to let all these Somalians in? I think that we need to follow that breadcrumb trail.
As we just pointed out earlier today, a illegal
Who started all this?
From Laos was convicted.
And that's the thing. These people never want to go out and say, hey, you know what? ICE did take some criminals off the street. ICE did arrest some people who were very dangerous and made our community less safe. Nope, they won't give ICE any credibility because to them, the idea of enforcing America's border is completely illegitimate. Remind me how this is peaceful again. Look, they're having snowballs thrown at them.
The streets today.
Snowballs, ice balls.
Coast to coast. In Minneapolis, the epicenter, protesters facing off with ICE officers live on our air, allegedly trying to obstruct an operation.
Why would you get near these guys when they're out there doing this?
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, meanwhile, announcing plans to deploy hundreds of additional federal agents to Minneapolis today and tomorrow,
Don't get near these
saying
guys.
they are needed to protect the administration's ongoing immigration enforcement there. While these protests continue,
If only I could get my Arc Raider team to be as organized.
We're seeing play out in that city a year-long benefit fraud scandal involving some in the Somali community.
And why do you think we've got some of these elected officials who are willing to get out there and drive around in the back of a pickup truck screaming about how Trump's the problem in this country? I think these individuals know that the more we learn about this fraud, the more they could be in personal jeopardy.
And speaking of
and Ilhan Omar, 2020, she had a little bit of money to her name because, you get paid quite a bit to be in Congress. But then all of a sudden, over the past couple of years, it's ballooned to like $7 or $8 million. Insider trading? Maybe? How do you make that kind of return out of nowhere in a couple of years? Elon's up to some bullshitey.
We're also tracking new allegations of billions of dollars in healthcare fraud in California.
Yeah, of course.
Saying that Russian and Armenian gangs, mafia, and crooked doctors are behind fraud in the Golden State.
I believe it.
But back to Minnesota.
Charging
we go now
the
to
insurance companies,
live on the ground
the system,
in
the
Minneapolis
state.
tonight, monitoring
Minneapolis
anti-ICE
is the fraud
protests.
capital.
Brooke, what is the
It's
situation
spreading
like on
from
the
here.
ground tonight?
They can't be allowed to stand, these rioters.
Yeah, Natasha, my team just grabbed our gas masks. We've got them ready to go because we just saw a really volatile moment play out here at the Whipple Federal Building.
Oh, that's the
there
jail.
are ICE offices inside, so this has become a real hub
They want to attack
for
the jail.
a lot of the demonstrations all week and all weekend. Moments ago, we saw federal officials come out. There were several flashbangs and tear gas deployed as those officials are trying to disperse this crowd that, again, has been outside for hours now demonstrating.
Clean 'em up.
Even with the sun now down, these
'Cause
demonstrations
they're being paid.
not slowing down.
They're being paid, these people.
Exactly.
Look at them.
Yeah, these losers wouldn't get off their couch unless they're getting
Clashes
paid.
continued between protesters and ICE
They don't care about
agents
other
at the
people
Whipple
like
Federal
that.
Building. One man arrested for impeding traffic. Local sheriff's deputies trying to keep the peace.
Look at
As
this.
demonstrations continue.
It's the same people. They attack ICE when they're out there making arrests, and then they go to the jail and attack them again. These are the same protesters. They won't stop.
No,
this
they
is their
won't.
full-time job.
And throughout Minnesota.
Bring out the army.
Look at these people.
Karen. See, look, what am I saying? All a bunch of Karens, all a bunch of uggos.
Playing drums, telling them to get out.
They're doing more.
Like, tell me if you see one attractive person.
One
Please.
person taken away by agents. The man's wife distraught, saying agents told her he had a final order of removal.
This is what they get.
So why didn't he obey
And
that
another
removal?
scene at a St. Paul gas station where ICE agents surrounded a car, breaking its windows and pulling the drivers out.
All they had to do was get
Yeah,
out.
they had a reason, I'm sure.
Seen taking a bystander to the ground, arresting them.
Right.
Yep.
What did the
Intimidate, attack. You're going to jail.
Meantime, our sources
Sorry.
say DHS is gearing up to send 1,000 more
They
law
need it.
enforcement into Minnesota, on top of the 2,000.
They got paintball guns?
And you know why?
Sick.
Because these mobs are not out there for free. We're supposed
Chrissy,
to believe that
no.
these are just average people who woke up one day and were outraged at what Trump was up to, and they just took to the streets.
Right.
That's not what this is at all.
No, it's
Things
not.
that people don't realize, that certainly the police in the major cities and here in New York realize, is that
They can't even get dressed properly for this.
protester, whatever you want to call
Out there wearing
it,
sweats.
is a career path.
Sweats that are too
Yeah.
long that are sticking in the snow getting wet.
Right,
If you dig in far
They don't even know how to dress
enough,
themselves.
out that they are drawing salaries that are, at least in part,
How does our society function when half the people are like this?
grants always from the
Right.
Democratic Party or
It's fraud. Fraud is literally funding not just the fake daycares, not just the fake doctor's offices, not just the fake treatment centers and fake housing projects that never seem to happen. No, it's funding the actual rioters too.
Yes.
leaning groups that have ties
Facts.
to the Democratic Party. We all know.
Preach,
we've
bro.
Heard it.
Right.
And that ecosystem just churns and churns and churns.
Right.
And the police.
That's why they're defending
see
it.
the same faces, the same people.
Thank
with
you.
all of a sudden, miraculously overnight, printed placards that are out there on
Right.
the street.
I know.
In some cases, they'll tell you that they're being paid. Now, I'm not suggesting that that's what went on here. But I would say, though, that I would like to know what was the gainful employment for the people that, in the middle of the day, were blocking
Right.
ICE activities and committing federal felonies.
True.
That stuff never gets looked into, and so it
No, it
gets
doesn't.
perpetuated. And all I'll say is, when the right loses elections, we lose elections, and we go back and we try to win elections. When the left loses elections,
This is what they do.
You get chaos.
But here's the other thing. You've got all these people, millions of people taking to the streets. We're not hearing anything from companies, right? If companies, like let's just say Google, let's just say all their employees walked away to go protest. We would hear from Google about how ICE's activity is hurting the economy and disrupting their business. But no, we're not hearing about any of that. You know why? Because it's not happening. These people aren't walking away from jobs. They're not walking away from a desk somewhere, from some client meeting that was going to earn their company millions of dollars to go throw snowballs at ICE agents in the middle of the street. No, none of this activity came from somebody who was a normal person that woke up one day, was outraged, and decided to put down what they were doing and come out on the streets. Nope, this is all happening because of a protest industrial complex that exists because of the
I love that term.
same fraud that's being uncovered, and that's why it's fighting so hard to keep it that way.
Right. I think that
And you know they'd be doing in other countries in the same situation? It wouldn't just be tear gas, smoke grenades. No, they'd be out there with rubber bullets, bean bags. They'd be taking everybody down, shields and billy clubs. They would be locking people up. Why? Because that's the only way you deal with these kind of psychos. And these people who are out here burning flags, waving the flag upside down, it should be treasonous. Every other country around the world, basically, you get in trouble for treason for doing that. In America, for whatever reason, like, I guess you can't burn a flag now, thanks Trump. But God, there's still people doing it. You know that. God, these people need to go.
Such a good point. It's basically the same people just.
We have bigger fish to fry in this world.
And pretending they're with a different team. Right. It's always the same people. And you're right. The idea is always subversion. Yep. Subversion, disruption. And we saw it back in 2020. And I don't think the American people are going to take the bait this time, because it was portrayed in 2020, the George Floyd summer.
Mostly peaceful.
Portrayed as almost organic protesting.
No, it wasn't.
That people are coming out there to get their voices heard. When in fact that was not true, or by and large not true. It's these same groups, and they want to disrupt and make things harder and obstruct. And Paul is exactly right.
Side thought, how many people here that are protesting do you think a decade from now, when Venezuela is all cleaned up, hotels are built, the Venezuelans open up a bunch of businesses, and their tourism industry takes off because it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet? How much you want to bet that a bunch of these people were going to be vacationing there? I'm just saying.
You know, the irony is, the only people here acting legitimately are the ICE agents. Even
that's right.
Amen.
They're out there enforcing laws that have been
right.
passed
They're doing their job.
Meanwhile, we've got members of Congress who are lying, trying to incite mob violence across this country.
Right.
What do you think about that? I'll see you in the next video.
Peace out, bro.
Hey, Tiffany.
Love it. That was great. Fantastic video. I love it. Cash Jordan, another hitter. Great video, bro. Thanks for procuring all of these cuts, giving me the chance to respond. Guys, let me know in the comments. Do you agree? What's going on here? How can we make this country run better? Give me your thoughts. Give me your opinions. Like the video. Subscribe. I'm not on the left or the right. I'm just a person of truth. This has got to stop. We've got a world to fix, and we need to start here in our own backyard. Peace.